what we're going to do today's video is pretty much talking about the Western Conference bottom half, so the bottom 7, all the way up to the 9th seed. So we start with 15. 15th is going to be the Kings.
So this is unrehearsed and unresearched. We sat down and looked at the 15 teams that are in the Western Conference, looked at their records last year, and tried to put them in order. Now, Eli and I don't agree on all of them, so we'll highlight the points that we don't agree on. But I think one thing, Eli, that everybody can agree about, Sacramento Kings, not a good basketball team. Haven't been a good basketball team since, roughly before you were born?
Yeah.
What's the last good Sacramento Kings basketball team you remember?
I don't know.
That's because there hasn't been one in your lifetime. Okay, what's the greatest Sacramento Kings player of all time, would you say?
All time?
This is a hard question, oddly enough.
I can't really think of any. Players really don't.
Yeah, so way back in the good old days, before your time, back around 2002, the Sacramento Kings had Peja Stojakovic. And they had White Chocolate, Jason Williams.
Oh yeah, he's a passer.
Vlade Divac, the notorious chain smoker who smoked 2 packs a day. From Croatia or Yugoslavia? I can't remember exactly where Vlade was from, but he was quite a character. And Chris Webber.
Yeah.
And they combined to make probably one of the most entertaining and best passing teams the league has seen in a long time. But suffice to say, it's gone way downhill for the Kings since then. There's been some Jimmer Fredette in their draft. There's been some Willie Cauley-Stein. There's been some Skylar Bessiere. And a whole bunch of other guys that you probably wouldn't even recognize if I said their name. So, how do we feel about some of their other more recent picks, like De'Aaron Fox? How do you feel about him?
De'Aaron, potential to be a really good player at the moment. I think a lot of players on these mediocre teams.
Are we calling them mediocre now?
Well, like bottom half teams.
Okay, they're bottom half for sure.
But they can't perform. They don't have enough supporting cast around them. Kind of like LeBron last year was struggling because no shooting. Everyone was struggling in that team. Sure. That's how kind of De'Aaron Fox plays. He wants to pass it out or just drive it and dunk it. He can't do that when no one's able to threaten on the wings or whatever.
Sure. So he's an interesting player. He is a point guard. He has a little bit of combo guard in him, right? Sometimes he's I wouldn't call him necessarily pass first. Yeah. I wouldn't necessarily call him a shoot first. He's an attacker. He's a slasher. Yeah, he's best when he's aggressive. He's creating the open court and he's creating transition. But as you say, if people aren't knocking down shots around him, it's not looking pretty. So that makes me think of another guy, a recent draftee, Buddy Hield. What do you think of him?
Just a lot of the picks that go down to these like really bad teams just don't perform, and it's like they have the potential, but Buddy Hield has never been looked to be a star in my eyes. He's never been.
So I don't know if you were able to watch him when he was in college at Oklahoma, but he was a killer. He was I think probably scored about 25 points per game or something like that, and he had a few really insane games. I think he might have scored 47 one time or something like that. That college 3-point line sure is a lot closer than the NBA one, right?
It's just like taking that transition for especially your first or second year from like 3-point line obviously is a big threat. If you're actually trying to shoot from that, you have to practice that. Like Jason Tatum made a huge upgrade on his 3-point. It was like insane. He obviously worked on his 3-point shot, but people like Buddy Hield, if you're not knocking down threes or you're not knocking down your mid-range shots, you're just nothing because you can't attack the rim. You're not big enough to do that.
Yeah. So he is, what is he, about 6'3.5", 6'4", I think.
Yeah.
He doesn't really have a great first step.
Yeah.
And he has an okay, first step. So even though he's a 6'4" shooting guard, he's also kind of got not one of the longer wingspans, which is more important than people think. So he's not a huge threat driving to the rim. He's sort of a glorified spot-up shooter.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know, do you know how he shot last year? Buddy Hield from 3? Okay, well, we'll have a contest. Guess what his 3-point shooting percentage was from 3. I'm going to say it was pretty respectable, not all world or anything like that. I'm going to say 37%, 38. How about 38?
40.
You're going with 40, okay. You think he was pretty good.
I think he was decent. I don't like
40 is really good.
Yeah, 40 is
if
really
you
good.
get a guy to knock down at 3s at 40, that's pretty darn good. Buddy Hield, his 3-point shooting, wow. Okay, 43.1. 43.1 just for the entire season last year. Okay, so
you can spot up in the corner though.
Yeah.
Sacramento, you're not expecting to win 80
well, hey,
games.
43.1 is 43.1,
Yeah.
right? At the end of the day. How do you shoot? So 87 or 88% from the free throw line.
He's actually a pretty good player.
He only scores 13.5 a game.
Okay.
So that tells me something. Well, it tells me one thing. He's not getting any easy baskets.
Yeah.
No easy baskets, right? Because this guy just doesn't live or play near the rim at all. But when you got a guy who's shooting 43% from 3, that's a weapon.
Yeah.
The trouble is if that's your only weapon. Okay, so let's see. So we feel like De'Aaron Fox is the point guard of the future.
Yeah.
We feel like Buddy Hield is a respectable 3-point shooter. How do we like the other guys on their roster? How about Bogey? Have you seen Bogdanovich much?
Oh, he's a shooter.
He is a
He
shooter.
can shoot it out.
See, now here's the funny thing, right? If we look at his 3-point shooting, I'm sure it's worse
Yeah,
than
it's
Buddy
worse
Hield,
than
right? So,
Buddy Hield probably doesn't take as many threes.
mm-hmm.
Just knocks them down.
So Bogey's 6'6", and he's a serviceable player. He's listed at shooting guard, and Buddy Hield is also listed at shooting guard. Who are you taking out of those two if you have to pick one? Because both of them are, Hield is definitely too small to play the 3.
Yeah.
He doesn't have the handle or the split speed to play the 1, so he's just locked in as a 2 guard. And Bogey is kind of small.
Yeah.
So, scrawny, even though he's 6'6", he really feels like a shooting guard.
They need a true small forward, I think. You can't just have 2.
Well, if you remember a while ago, they drafted Justin Jackson from North Carolina. It wasn't a high pick, but it was a pick. And I don't know I think the jury is probably still out on him. Who else do we like on the roster? Willie Cauley-Stein? What do you think of him?
Marvin Bagley.
Okay, so Marvin Bagley. That's
obviously Rook is a promising of his, but
sure. So coming into this draft, I was really high on Bagley. In fact, I had Wendell Carter Jr. Not to steal the thunder from a draft video that we might do, but I like Wendell Carter Jr. a lot. I like Jaren Jackson a lot, but I had Marvin Bagley right there with him. Let's project Marvin Bagley's stats for next year. What do you think he will average points and rebounds?
Points and rebounds. I'm saying he's going to be. It's our 11.5 points per game roughly, and then roughly 7 or 8 rebounds per game to a player.
Okay, that's exactly where I was going.
Yeah.
I was going to say 11 points and 8 point something.
Yeah.
11 points and 8 point something rebounds.
He's going to get those rebounds.
That presumes that he stays healthy. He's kind of a beanpole leaper. I always worry about these types of guys. When he's an explosive athlete. How do his knees really quiet? How do his knees hold up? Yeah. Okay, so they stunk last year and they won 27 games, and they added Marvin Bagley and looks like the ageless one, Vince Carter, was added to their roster. To no doubt to season some of the young kids and make sure Marvin Bagley is getting to practice on time and so on. Do we like them more or less than last year? And I asked that knowing that we just pegged them as the worst team in the conference.
Not to put any disrespect on their name, but it's hard actually. They didn't get worse.
So do we have to reevaluate putting them as the worst team in the Western Conference?
Maybe. The Suns Oh, they're terrible.
Are we thinking that the Suns could actually be worse than them?
That's hard to say.
Having picked DeAndre Ayton.
Oh, they picked DeAndre, which is number one.
You know, we won't get to this just yet because the Suns can be in the next segment. But are we still comfortable having them last?
Kings. Thinking now to think about it, they didn't get
Worse. They got older. The younger players got older,
Which is good for them.
which is really good for them.
The experience matters.
But then they also have a couple of veterans on the roster to obviously help them.
They haven't addressed this weakness that they seem to have at the wing position. Wait, did they add George Hill? Am I saying that right?
No, George Hill's. Wait, is he still on Cleveland? I'm pretty sure he got traded to Cleveland.
Yeah, well, I'm just looking at the. Oh, I'm looking at the 17-18 roster. Okay, yeah, gotcha.
Just before the trade.
Yeah, sorry, that's out of date.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I am going to stick to my guns and say, yep, they're still the worst team in the Western Conference. And I think they're going to win roughly the exact same number of games that they won last year.
So everyone,
I think Fox's gets a little bit better. I think Hield is one of those players that may improve, but he just has a limited ceiling. He's athletically just a little bit challenged. I don't see him ever being a dominant offensive player. 43% is, you can't ask for anything more, but he's really relegated to more of almost like a Kyle Korver role.
yeah,
At this point. Yeah, just knock down shots. There were a few games I watched last year where he took over late in games and showed me a little something. So I would anticipate his scoring average goes up slightly, maybe into that 15, 16 point per game range or something like that. I like the Kings to win. Wow. The Suns might actually be worse.
Yeah, they might be worse.
But I'm going to say I like the Kings to win exactly the same number of games they won last year, 27. What's your prediction?
Well, if they're winning 27, then the Suns, a lot of the other teams below them need to get a lot better, in my opinion. I don't think a lot of teams
to make them the worst team.
The worst team.
Right. So I don't think they're going to win fewer games than they did last year.
They can't win fewer games.
Although think of it this way. They played the Lakers 4 times last year.
Oh, yeah. That's going to be...
That looks worse for them now.
Yeah.
I think we can agree.
So...
all these teams that played the Lakers 4 times last year in the West
are going to get...
That's bad news for them.
Yeah.
It's bad news. What's your prediction? I've got 20. I'm going to stick with 27.
I'm going to say 27 as well. I think they're not going to win any more games. It's going to be another season or two of just making these guys get older and better, and then try to actually go for a playoff spot, which, unless they add someone to that roster, they're not going to make playoffs.
Okay.
In my opinion.
Oh, that's our take on the Kings, I guess. We have a few more kind of rotten teams to plow through here. These are teams that we don't get to watch a lot, even though we have the league pass.
I don't want to watch.
You just really can only watch so many games, and our Celtics only play them twice a year. So we're shooting from the hip a little bit here, but it's still fun to talk about. So up next is
14, the Phoenix Suns.
Phoenix Suns. Okay, and we'll do that.